The girls have been asking me to put hair twinkles in their hair. It's basically tinsel that's designed to be tied into hair, and the girls love it. It's super pretty, so much fun. They get compliments everywhere they go. We're going to start by lightly misting the hair because it's a little bit easier to work with hair that's slightly damp. Now I'm going to look for a few strands of hair that are nice and close together at the root. I like to go for a few hairs that are just underneath where the natural part is, so that way when the hair falls back into place, it hides the knot a little bit. Now that I've separated a small strand, about 4 or 5 hairs, it's time to tie in our hair twinkle. I've already folded the hair twinkle in half, and I'm pinching it near the fold to create a loop, because now what I'm going to do is tie a slip knot into the hair by simply wrapping the hair twinkle around that strand, reaching in through the loop, and then pulling the two ends through. And I want to shimmy that slip knot all the way down to the base of the strand so that it's as close to the scalp as possible. I've had some practice with this, but when you're doing it, especially the first few times, you might find it easier to get a helper or ask your child to put their finger on that knot as you work through the next few steps. As you can see, I've crossed the hair twinkle over my hair and I'm pulling the end through just like I'm tying a shoelace. And I'm going to pull that knot all the way down so that it's nice and close to the scalp. And then I'm going to repeat the process, except this time it's going to be hair over hair twinkle. It actually doesn't matter what order you do it in as long as you do one first, followed by the opposite. The main thing to remember is to not let go of that strand of hair and keep it completely separated from the rest so that in the end you'll have a nice neat knot. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, then please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell. The last thing you'll want to do is take one end of the hair twinkle in each hand and pull in opposite directions to make sure that knot is nice and tight. With a little luck, your hair twinkles can stay in for as long as a month, 2 months. I think we've even had a hair twinkle stay in for 4 months, but it does kind of depend a little bit on the hairs that they're tied to and how long those hairs want to stay attached to your head. They can stand up to a little bit of heat, so you don't have to worry if you're using a hairdryer or straightener or curling iron. But one tip that I find really does help them stay in for as long as possible is to feel around for that little knot close to the scalp. And I tell the girls to do this too when they're combing or brushing out their own hair. And put your finger on it and then comb or brush underneath. And that prevents the teeth from accidentally catching on the knot and pulling out the hair twinkle or even the entire strand of hair. And there you go. Beautiful, sparkly, definitely twirl-worthy hair twinkles.